Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of David Confused, episode 14. This episode is sponsored by Kudos. Ever do something good and want to reward yourself? And you want a semi-processed granola bar with a bunch of chocolate in it? Get yourself a Kudos. Kudos to you for making the right decision on a good snack. David Confused, number 14. We got a stacked episode. Let's get right to it. Like I said, we have a freaking stacked episode for y'all, so freaking buckle up. We're going to start this thing off right. We're going to talk about my first live show in about 9 months. My buddy Mike Wooten, who was on episode 2, the first guest episode of David Confused. Local Fresno comic. He threw a garage show, stand-up show in his garage, and it was pretty sweet. I was coming in hot like a bat out of hell after I clocked out on that Friday night, and managed to make it there towards the end of the night. I was, I think, the last one to perform. It was a good time. It's great to see everyone again. Definitely had like a speakeasy vibe to it, very punk rock. It was like, you show up and it's like, like everyone's in a mask. I have a beard now. I don't know if people are going to recognize me at all. But it was good. Got to see everyone. Got to see some familiar faces. You need that in times like these. I don't know if we're going to be able to do a show like that after the second shutdown has been forced upon us, so we'll see. But it was nice to get out and do a show for the first time. Maybe we can try some kind of drive-in situation. I don't know. But your boy was rusty. I couldn't even tell if I did well or not. It felt so good to get back in there in the ring. I had a couple of guys that were blackout drunk that were heckling from the COVID couch. That's what they nicknamed it, which is probably a bad nickname. But it was a good time. It smelled like cigarettes and weed and smell of alcohol. I miss that. Shout out to Mike Wooten for throwing that and putting it down. Hopefully we get another one coming whenever this BS opens up again. Whenever the government decides to just get all these vaccines and just stick it in our eyeballs until we like it. If that's what it takes to get people back at comedy shows, I might be apt to it. Like I said, packed show. Let's get back into it. Personal situation of mine. I had been without electricity in my kitchen. My kitchen light went out about 4 days ago. Oh man. I wish people would just do what they say they will do. Called my apartment complex. Said, hey, I need this thing fixed. I'm making pancakes in the fucking dark at fucking 10:30 at night. Just through candlelit dinners. I need this fixed. I'm like, okay, no problem. And they said, hey, I'm going to be at work. I need them here after 2 o'clock. They have my permission to come in and just get it done. And you could tell the woman was kind of like, wasn't really paying attention to me. And come back home, open up, flip on the switch, and nothing's happening. No one fixed my fucking light. So the next day, the woman calls me from the office. She's like, hey, they called your phone and no one answered, so we had to cancel that work order. It's going to be another couple of days. And I was like, well, next time, like, I guess I have to be here to let them in? And she's like, no. I was like, well, I gave him my permission last time. And she like didn't really know what to say. So I've been out of electricity for the past week. Just battling, just grinding through it. She said, hey, actually because of COVID, they're only doing essential services in your apartment. So I'm thinking, oh God, I'm not going to have my electricity for another fucking 2 months. And she's like, yeah, so we can only go in for certain situations like water leakage, fire, sewage, roofing failure, termites, seizures. And then, like, at the end, she's like, and kitchen lights. So you're good to go. I was like, fuck, I might have had to fake a seizure to get you guys in here. Going back to episode 13 last week, if you watched, I called for a boycott of cable. Xfinity, to be more specific. Xfinity might as well be 2020's version of highway robbers because they just fucking... It's a monopoly and they fucking screw you over. They don't give a shit. And they subliminally try to trick you through their commercials. I don't watch a lot of TV except for football. So I'm watching this last weekend and I see this commercial come up and it's Steve Carell dressed as Santa Claus. And it's like, okay, like, I can get down with that. That's actually a really funny commercial. Steve Carell, Office, haven't seen him in a while. As I'm watching this, I'm like, okay, I like this. I like Steve Carell as Santa. I can roll with this for this season. It's a feel-good commercial. Everyone likes Steve Carell, and then I'm thinking like, okay, like what's the ad for? Who's the company putting this on? I kind of like him more because of this. And at the very end, just fucking Xfinity's logo just appears in the middle of the screen. I was like, fuck no. Fuck no. You're not going to trick me. This is bullshit. You're trying to fool the masses. I'm calling you out, fucking Xfinity. And as soon as football ends, I'm going to cancel my contract. Suck it. Speaking of football, if you have any fantasy teams, you know it's playoff season. My league with my buddies from Memorial, the one I've been in forever, and the one I've dominated. That one, I did not make playoffs for the first time in 4 years, I think. I have 5 rings in that league, no big deal. So, might have to take this year off, let someone else win, because I'm a nice guy. But I have one other league, and this other league, I am in the playoffs. And the only reason I bring this up is because I had a victory, and I had to beat one of my siblings. Sorry, Danny J-Mo. Had to knock you out of playoffs. If you guys know Danny J-Mo, my brother, write it in the comments. Like, subscribe, comment if you haven't already. If you're even listening this far into the episode. But we're going to continue on because, like I said, this is a fucking packed episode. We're going to get through all the essentials. Coming up, we have Satellite Town Power Rankings. I said in the last episode, now that I've been driving around because I'm an essential worker, I have gotten a little mini tour of all these little mini ag towns and satellite towns around the Central Valley of California. So now I'm going to bring to you my exclusive Central Valley power ranking town list. I separated these towns into 2 categories. Fresno is the main center. I am not counting Clovis, Visalia, or Bakersfield. But the 2 categories are going to be populations of 25,000 and up, and the other one is 25,000 and below. And I will say, the 25 and up category does have a major upset. let's get right into it. Let's start with 25 and up, the big boys, big fish in the pond. Number one, this probably isn't a surprise to most. This might be a little homer pick, but number one comes in with Madeira. I am privy to Madeira because I was raised on the east side in the Madeira Ranchos. Downtown Madeira kind of reminds you of little Mexico City. There's a couple of good places to eat. You don't really want to be there, but they have some good spots. They have a couple parks. A lot of nostalgia for me. That's why they come in at number one. Number two, Red Alert. Huge upset in the power rankings. We have Reedley coming in on the 2 spot. Major underdog. Reedley gets bumped up strictly because of their hidden beach that I found. They have some kind of river that goes through it, and there's a huge beach in Reedley. Pushes them up to number 2. Number 3, this is our salute to service ranking. Number 3 is Lemoore because of the military base. Also UFO sightings. So Lemoore is a strong 3. You would think Hanford's coming in at 4, but not so fast, my friend. Sanger, home of the Apaches, coming in at 4. Just a nice little town. There's some shit that goes down, but for the most part, nice community. And number 5 is Hanford, strictly because of the smell and because the water tastes like cow shit. Others receiving votes in this category were Dinuba, Chachilla, and Color Rossi. Orange Cove did not make the cut. Maybe next year. 25 and under. This one was pretty close. Came down to just feel and aesthetics. But number 1 is no secret. Heavy hitter. Heavy favorite. Might have to call this one Smarty Jones. The number 1 spot is Friant, California. You got Millerton Lake. You got a bunch of trails. It's nice up there. You can actually breathe some air. Friant is an easy number 1. Number 2 is Kingsburg because of the Swedish Village. It's an all-in-one spot. Number 3 is Fowler, mainly because of the people. Best raisins on this side of the Mississippi. Raisin City and Fowler are known for their raisins. Number 4 is Parlier. I've come to know Parlier a lot. It's not very big. They have a Subway. I think they're getting a Taco Bell pretty soon, which basically pumped them up past 5 Kerman. It's close, but 25,000 and under population category, Friant is the leader. Now that I am driving a lot, I'm trying to utilize cruise control a little bit more because my my right leg will kind of cramp up if I use it a lot. So I turn the Prius from power mode to eco mode, so it's less torque. So that helps a little bit, but I did think about something where Elon Musk, if you're watching, here's a little idea. You can make like a self-driving car. That way you put it in autopilot, and then you add in a freaking Peloton where the seat would be. That way you get a nice little workout, you get a little sweat going, put on the AC so you don't sweat before you go to work, pop the sunroof so it's like you're actually on a bike, pop that sunroof, mommy, and you freaking knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. And then the Peloton could also charge the battery for the car. I thought about that idea, and I know it's genius, but then I realized that I just described a Flintstone car. So it'd be like Barney Rubble's whip. But it's like that McConaughey commercial. Sometimes you gotta go back to move forward. You know what I'm saying? Now on to everyone's favorite subject segment, Tales from the Road. These tales from the road have been pretty spicy. I also saw something pretty strange. Cats. I don't hate cats. I just don't trust them. I was driving through a neighborhood and I saw an all black cat just staring into a fence. It was just sitting there like this, and it was just staring straight, just right into a fence, just not moving. I was like, is this cat dead or just freaking locked in on some freaking hardwood? Don't know what's going on in its mind. Probably plotting to kill its owner. That's why you can't trust cats. Also, I saw, this is actually something that really freaked me out, and it's kind of a sign of the times, which is sad. I'm pulling up to deliver to someone, and I look, and this is such a bizarre scene. This woman is in her garage, sitting in this chair with this newborn baby in her lap. And from my angle, you could just see there was a family of like 6 kids, and they're all like behind the mother, like looking down at the like newborn infant that she's like holding. There's seriously like 5 kids behind her. They're all looking over her shoulder. And from my angle, I was like, dang, this is like the freaking manger scene in a nativity scene. It's like fucking newborn baby Jesus over there. And this whole family is just staring at this kid like it's never seen it before. And they're literally, it's midday and they're just in the garage with the door open and they're just sitting there in a lawn chair. And then I get closer and I look and the fucking mom is watching something on her phone. Like in front of the newborn baby. So the baby gets front row seats and all the kids are just watching the fucking phone over her shoulder. What the is this world coming to? Come on, lady, take it to a fucking movie. Cheap ass. No, that was pretty strange, but the weirdest thing after that was I turned the corner after that, in the next neighborhood, there was a real life-size fucking Jesus manger nativity scene. And it was the exact carbon copy of the real people. But just like wax figures. It's fucking weird. Maybe it was the universe telling us that we need to get all of our phones and just throw them in Niagara Falls. One last thing about Tales from the Road. Actually, 2 things. Like I said, this is a fucking packed episode. Driving a couple days ago, minding my own business, and I see a little fire on the side of the 99. And as I look closer, it looked like someone's like little homeless encampment was just up in flames. And I'm thinking, there has to be some meth head arson. Can you imagine like using all your resources to build your home on the side of the 99, getting enough bottles and cans to just get enough change, you recycle them, you get some pennies and quarters and shit, scrounge all that up, you get enough meth, or you go to the corner, you use it to get some meth, you freaking roast that thing, hit that meth pipe, and then all of a sudden you get this crazy idea of lighting your place on fire and cashing out on the fire insurance policy. Gotta respect it. People are trying to make ends meet at this time with the pandemic. Props to the meth head, thinking outside the box. One last thing, I do have a policy now of just never stepping foot in anyone's house ever for anything on the job, even though people will invite me a lot. So I knock on this door. It's pretty late night the other night, and this couple, like, they don't answer for a while, and then I knock again, and I just hear like, "Come in," which is never a good sign. Obviously, I don't come in. I don't touch the door, and the door opens, and it's this like older man and this kind of older woman and this like maybe the son. It was such a weird vibe, and they're all staring at me. So I kind of like, I'm like, "Hey, delivery for whatever," and they're like, "Oh, come in, come in." I'm like, and I just kind of stood there, and I like just made it apparent like I'm not coming in. Like, hurry up and get your package. Let me get the fuck out of here. So then, just to kind of, and the person like kind of like comes over to me to get the package, and just to kind of like deflate the tension, I was like something smells good in here, just to kind of like say something, and that was immediately a terrible decision. Because then they go, oh, we have food, have some. We just made some, have some. And it smelled like some kind of tempura, maybe some kind of shrimp deal. And I was actually pretty hungry, but I'm thinking to myself, I'm not going to eat this. I can't. So they're like, "Here, have, like, do you want some food?" And I kind of hesitated for a little bit, and I was like, "No, I can't, sorry." And I give him the package, and as I'm leaving, the son just zeroes in on me, and like, "No, dude, no, here, you gotta have food. Here, dude, just take this. Just take this." He grabs a freaking. He grabs a freaking. It looked like a tempura hot pocket. It looked like a giant egg roll, and he tried to pass it to me like a baton. He's like, "Here, dude, just take it. Just take it." And I was just like, "I can't. No, I can't." And I just ran away. He barehanded the tempura hot pocket baton and tried to pass it to me like I was Jackie Joyner Kersey in the 1994 Olympics. If he like got that thing even somewhere close to me, I would have went, "Get that cord out of my face." And we're going to end the show on a positive note. I did get my camera in the mail from Black Friday. It's going to be a lot of content being pumped out in 2021. I just need to get a goddamn memory card for this camera. I'm technologically illiterate. I'm learning. So as soon as I get this thing, Dave and Confused will get a little boost. And we're going to get a lot more reviews on the channel. I am going to remember to put my number on this in the description for the hotline. So send me any pictures, text, voicemails, anything you want, and I will read it on the show. If you're watching this far into it and you're not like, subscribed, commented, once again, I'll fucking hunt you down personally. Alright, y'all. Till next week. Peace.